So yeah, this one you already have it, I guess. I have sent you when I explained about Upanishad. So first of all, what you have to remember is the meaning of the word Upanishad. It means to sit down at the feet of the Guru, or be near the Guru to get spiritual knowledge. And we need to have devotion, determination, right? Or you want to call it focus, we need to focus, whatever. You have to know the meaning of the word Upanishad. But not the Upanishad itself, Sikwada Upanishad, it is a scripture, right? This is what we call the end of the Vedas. It is known as the Vedanta. It is known as the Vedanta. Veda Anta. Veda means the Vedas, and Anta means the end of the Vedas, right? So, what do the Upanishads contain? Say knowledge about Brahman, Atman, the way to liberation, and all, right? And they are known to be like summaries of the Vedas. The Vedas are believed to be so huge, malgré qu'il y en a quatre. Each one is actually huge in itself. So the sages somehow summarized the Vedas. Et donc, il y a 108 Upanishads. Most of the Upanishads have been named after the sage who compiled them, right? So we have usually 108 Upanishads, but 11 are considered to be major Upanishads. Now, the Chandogya Upanishad comes from the Samaved. It is from the Samaved. And it is the story of the father and the son. The father, whose name is Udalaka Aruni. Please remember the name. Maybe when you are writing, you might be writing only Aruni, but in a question, it can come Udalaka Aruni. So you have to know who is the person. And his son, who was Swetaketu, right? So Swetaketu was sent to Gurukul. You know, broadly the story, let me tell you. He was sent to Gurukul to study, but when he returned, his father Aruni noticed that he did not know the key of that knowledge, the key of everything, that important knowledge he didn't know about. And also, he was arrogant. But when we study, when we learn, when we get education, we're not supposed to be arrogant. We need to be humble, right? So he was not like that, sweet Ketu, not at all. So his father decided to give him lessons. We have to teach him, Peter, about that key of all knowledge, to all knowledge. His father explained to him the law of causation. Remember, law of causation, c'est ça même qui nous dit the law of cause and effect, right? Ou bien on appelle the theory of cause and effect. Tous les faits et une cause. If you make a pot out of clay, you have the clay and you made the pot. The clay is the cause and the effect is the pot. Like you are here, you are the effect. Your parents are the cause, right? In the same way, this world has a cause. This world has been created. We have been created. You have the nature, everything. This universe has been created. And who is the cause? Brahman is the cause. We are not really God. God is that cause, right? So this is the first thing you can say he explained to his son. He also talked about the process of creation. Aruni explained this way to Ketu about the process of creation. Initially, there was nothing. Before creation, there was nothing. There was utter darkness, and God alone was here. And he desired, he had the willingness, he desired to create, and thus he created. He created the three elements: fire, water, earth. Nous n'avons pas les autres théories qui disent nous qu'il crée d'autres choses avant, right? But whatever the theory, the point is the world has been created by the Lord. So he created the fire, water, earth, the three elements. Now, when his father was explaining all these things, he became curious, as if he didn't know, or he wanted more of that knowledge, right? So, in your book, you will see that, I guess you have read, right? So the bees and the honey example. Udalaka Aruni used that example. You know, the bees zit altu lotbag fleur, right? And then they will make the honey. And from the honey, you cannot distinguish, you cannot know from which flower does it come. We can't know that parce que bees là, les narcisses to flare, right? And he also, Udalaka Aruni, he used more other examples to explain that about Brahman, about Atman. He used the 4 illustrations, right? So when you have the honey and someone ask you from which flower does that honey come from, right? From which bee does that come from? You will never be able to answer that. Okay, means they are all one. Likewise, we are all one, and we will merge to the Supreme in that same way. Pareil comme honey là, malgré it came from different bees and different flowers, but en tout, c'est the honey, no? So we will merge in the Supreme in the same way. So that is one example you can write if needed. Right. So if you see the illustrations, the first illustration will be that of the river flowing to the ocean. Okay. All the rivers will go into the ocean. The water will rise again, water vapor, there will be cloud, there will be rain, and it will again come to the ocean. Right? This is the whole cycle. Nous stuck in that cycle, the cycle of birth and death. We are stuck there. We are born now, no? We have been born, and we are doing our karma. We are going to die. We'll take birth again, probably, right? And the point aussi, c'est quoi? We are all one. The waters from the different rivers, they go to one ocean. And in the ocean, you can't distinguish, you can't say this part of water comes from river A or from river B. It is difficult to do that. Comment y arrive the ocean? The water become one. Nous aussi, we are one. We have come from the Brahman. We are living here. We are one. It might be, it is that we are different. In what sense? Physically, we might be different. One can be male, female. Physiquement, our body might be different. But the inner essence, we are all souls. And could nous pourrait aller, we will merge again in the Supreme Soul. So the point, why should we discriminate? You can quote here, Jesus, I and my Father are one. We are all one. Or what, the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole world is one family. We are all one. We are not different. Next example he used to explain his son is if we strike at a tree at different places, different angle, the tree is not going to die. Tant que nous pas déraciner les pieds là, il pas pour mort. If you strike it, comme si vous pouvez couper une branche ou an other part of the tree, it will bleed, but it will still be alive. If you strike at any angle of the tree, it will bleed, but it will stay alive, right? Until the Atma does not leave it. Until the Atma does not leave it. Likewise, nous l'écho est pareil. Nous ne cavons que dentiste nous tiennent les dents, nous pas mort, no. And du monde la main cave couper les pieds en la main. He doesn't die, most probably, of course. Okay, he doesn't die normally. The cow peut vivre sans en la main. But when the Atma leaves the body, when the Atma decides, when God decides the Atma has to leave the body, then the body will perish, the body will die, right? And here you talk about the qualities of the soul. You can refer to Bhagavad Gita. Si les questions 10 points, okay, you refer to Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna has said in chapter 2, when the body becomes worn out veut dire living pied. Non, nous les call living pied. Just like we change our clothes when our clothes become worn out, become dirty, ou bien les déchirer. In the same way, when this body will become worn out, will become old, the Atma will leave the body and enter another body. So here the important lesson here is the Atma. The Atma pervades everything. Et tant qu'Atma lit dans quelque chose, nous vivons. Maintenant, il est aussi vrai que even in inanimate objects ou bien immovable objects aussi, another soul. C'est ce qu'il y a dans les senses. Je ne peux pas dire dans une roche, un soul. Je ne peux pas dire dans la table, un soul. Il y en a un soul. Parce que the soul, c'est quoi? C'est God. And where is God? God is everywhere. God is omnipresent. Right? So God is everywhere. Mais seulement la table, stone, les pena senses, comme nous, nous avons senses, a dog has senses. Right? Les pena, of course. Les immovable, tant que nous ne pas pour move, les pas pour move. Fine. But Atma is in everyone and in everything. But here we are focusing on plutôt those who are alive, like nous, for example. If the Atma leaves my body right now, this body perishes. Okay, so you can refer to Bhagavad Gita here. And then the third example is the banyan tree. The banyan tree's seed. Aruni told his son to bring a ripe fruit of the banyan. He told him to break the fruit, and what does he see inside? He sees a seed. He told him to break the seed. When Sweet came to break the seed, he saw many seeds in it. Et ce papa dit, break one of the tiny seeds. Quand il break one of the tiny seeds, what does he see? He sees nothing. There is nothing. But when you plant that seed, we get a tree. We get fruits, we get flowers. And from that fruit, you will get more seeds, you will get more trees. The circle continue like that, cause and effect, cause and effect. Right? But what is there inside the seed? There is nothing. Mais quand on plante li, ou gain pied, ou gain fruit, etc. So, from that nothing, we are getting so many things. Ou bien from that nothing, we are getting something. Means there should be an essence in the seed qui peut faire les pousser. Si pena une force somewhere, il va pouvoir pousser. Likewise, the Brahman leader nothing. What do I mean by that? The Brahman, you can't perceive through the senses. You can't see the Brahman. But can we see God? No, we cannot see. We say God is everywhere. Do we see God everywhere? You're walking on the road, you see Krishna, you see Ram. No, we don't. God cannot be perceived, the Brahman ou bien the Atman cannot be perceived through the senses. C'est ça, God is that nothing actually. Ne va pas dire godly nothing, ni non, ni vaut rien, whatever. Non, c'est pas ça. But the nothing means he exists, but we can't see, we can't touch. Our senses, through the senses, you can't perceive. Brahman. Right. Faudrait God peut-être, fait comment dire, Ram, tu prends naissance là, nous sommes dans l'époque Ram de Ayodhya. Mais tu peux trouver God in that form, but we usually can't see God. You know, the form of Ram is very illusory, bien deceptive, ça. Parce que God is much more than that. God is greater than a form. Right? So the banyan, you need to be able to. So likewise, even the Atma, just like the Brahman, the Atma, we can't see. There is the Atma in you. You can't see your Atma. I can't see your Atma. Okay. But we know the Atma is there. Kuma. I'm able to talk. You are able to listen to me. You are able to do things. Your body is able to function. Right? So, and also that there's no difference between Atman and Brahman, parce que nous Atma could be sorti from Brahman, définitivement. So there's no difference. Next example, the salt and water. Aruni told his son to bring a glass of water and to put some salt in it to keep it overnight. And the next day, he asked the son that to bring the glass of water and to explain what is there. Where's the salt? So Swetaketu says that he can't see the salt because obviously, logically, the salt has been dissolved. Right? So, but is the soul present in the water? Aruni Swetaketu said yes, it is present. In fairly bois de l'eau from different surfaces of the glass, right? And he drank the water from different surfaces of the glass, yet he found the water salty. Like, comment on voit la mer de l'eau là, il est salty everywhere, ou pas trop fish, ou pas une place, c'est pour salty même. Right, the salt has dissolved. Likewise, God, Brahman, he has created the world and he has put himself in that world. L'indissolve lui-même dans ça le monde là. Dans quelle façon? In the form of you, me, the creation, the plants around us, the animals. Donc tout in abondance, c'est nous tous, we are part of God. Means that he is omnipresent. And there is no such place, no such moment, neither in space, il n'y a aucune place comme ça qui bon Dieu pas existé. Everywhere, in every atom, there is God. Même dans une dust, and la poussière, in a bon Dieu. God is omnipresent. Right? So these are the 4 examples. You need to know to explain the 4 examples. The capable to explain the banyan fruit example illustration, ou bien les spécifier en 2 mots qui pour répondre. Right? Let's see some questions on chandogya. Ça veut dire nous get specimen paper 2017. Name the Hindu scripture in which a son asks his father to teach him about the self. You have to name the scripture. C'est the Chandogya. Chandogya Upanishad. What is the name of the son? Ketu. Likapab de Manu, what is the name of the father also? You write Udalaka Aruni, ou bien si vous pouvez écrire Udalaka, ou bien seulement Aruni aussi, that is fine. But the point is you should know the name. Next. What is Atman? Describe what Hindus can learn about Atman from the story of putting salt into water. Ou pas pour pour raconter ces histoires-là, hein, qui Aruni in just wait to put salt in the water, etc., etc. No, don't write the story here. But what you have learned from that story, from that illustration, this is what you have to write here. What you have learned, right? What is Atman? Maybe you can write Atman means the soul, and then you write what you have learned about Atman. Atman, li dans tout. Atman is Brahman, and Atman pervades everywhere, right? This one is for. This question will include all the chapters here. Après nous avons discussé. So for Chandogya Upanishad, that's all we have in November 2017 specimen paper. Nougat 2018. This is Mundaka. This is both Upanishad. We don't have 2018, nous pas une question spécifique là Chandogya. Nous avons in terms of question générale que nous pouvons inclure tous les deux Upanishads. Okay? Mais spécifique Upanishad Pena, Chandogya Pena, 2019. Give one example of the subtle essence described in the Chandogya Upanishad. What is that subtle essence? Subtle essence c'est Atman, ou bien Veka Brahman. No? State subtle essence veut dire, le mot subtle veut dire something so small that you cannot see. No, like an atom maybe or something you can't see with the naked eyes. With your eyes, you can't see that. And the subtle essence qui nous est c'est Atma, ou bien on appelle Brahman, right? State one thing that the father tells his son about the subtle essence. Qu'est-ce que papa il montre lui about the subtle essence? Subtle essence nous dit avec Atma. Mais c'est papa qui montre lui. That the Atma maybe pervades everywhere. This is what you can write, one thing. Right? Ou bien that all the Atmas will merge in the Supreme Soul. No? So this is Mundaka. No more question on Upanishad here. Chandogya 2020. Give two of the examples used to explain the nature of the self in the Chandogya Upanishad. Là, when I just to give the example, ou pas besoin expliquer. You give the example, put linkers about the nature of the self. Comment the self était. Maybe you can write the example of bees and honey here. Et ou capable écrire about the river and going into the oceans. The ocean, sorry. You can write that. Ça veut dire oui, écrire deux seulement. If let's say you are going to write number one, bees and honey. Deuxième, what did I say? Deuxième, you can write about the rivers going to the ocean. This you can write. You'll get your 2 marks. No other questions on Chandogya 2021. Mundaka, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. No specific question again on chandogya. So, so I guess chandogya is easy. It's not that tough to learn and remember the stories so that and you can write in the exam whenever needed. So let's see the Mundaka Upanishad. The Mundaka Upanishad is a bit long, right? But you just need to learn what is there briefly in it. आप वो écrire in your own words, no? What is there in the Mundaka Upanishad? So if you see the Mundaka Upanishad, the word Mundaka comes from the word tonsure, that is the Mundan. Okay, Mundan and sacrament, then sanskar, which means shaving of the head, right? Now, Mundaka means someone who has shaved his head. Please remember the meaning of the word Mundaka. Ou capable question un point here. Let's say, what is the meaning of the word Mundaka, right? So you need to be able to explain it. 1 mark, it means someone whose head has been shaved, ou bien is shaved. When do we do the first shaving? C'est quand un enfant est né, après quelques jours, nous faisons mundan sanskar. And why do we do it? It is for purity. Usually they say there has been impurities, no, in the mother's womb. So to purify that child, je te fais ça, mundan, right? That is the first mundan that we do. But we do another mundan also après. Quand un démon est décide pour venir un sannyasi, il fait un mundan aussi, il rira sur la tête encore, right? Shaving of the head, doing the mundan, il signify detachment. C'est pour ça un sannyasi, il rase sur la tête. It signifies detachment, right? So Mundaka Upanishad comes from the Atharva Ved. Remember that. Well, we have not seen question like that from which Ved does it Upanishad come, but it's always good to remember all this stuff, right? So what does it contain? Like all Upanishad, it contains about the Atman, the Brahman, Karma, Jnana, Bhakti, getting rid of ignorance, confusions, doubts, right? How that is what is the way to moksha. So knowledge helps to eliminate the above mentioned problems, the ignorance, confusion, doubts, just like a razor is used to remove the hair. Especially this Upanishad deals with the sannyasis. Pas sa premier mundan quand nous enfants là, it has nothing to do actually with it. But for the sannyasis, when they are like removing the hair, shaving their hair, it is like they are inculcating knowledge in them so that they can get rid of ignorance, confusion, and doubts. Parce que their aim at that time is to get moksha, right? So this Upanishad aims at helping the sannyasis. It is dedicated to the sannyasis. Usually it has 64 hymns, 3 chapters. Each chapter is divided into 2, right? This bow analogy, learn this properly. There are questions, the question come on this to explain that bow analogy in the Chandogya Upanishad. Before the verses, actually, I'm going to get done verses and just speak the bow analogy. looking at the bow illustration, you can say. Here, Om is the bow. You know the bow and arrow, Dhanush. No. Om is the bow. Atman is the arrow. Brahman is the goal, not in. Brahman is the goal. Now, imagine this in bow dans cette lame. And you have the arrow. And you have your target. You have your aim. Right? So, pour viser, non? Usually, c'est ça that we try to do. Nous viser bien, nous focus so that it can go to the target. We do not miss the target. We don't want to miss the target. Donc, we are the Atma, and there is the bow. The bow says the Om. What is Om? Om is God. Om is the Supreme. Om can be a mantra which lead us to God. Through the word Om, by reciting the word Om, we can reach Brahman. Donc, à travers sa bola, that is, à travers Om, nous, the arrow, the Atma, we pour réussir dans ce target. And that target is Brahman. That goal is Brahman. And to be able to reach that target, pour nous réussir envoyer sa arrow là, there, we need a concentrated mind to be able to reach there. We need devotion, we need concentration. We need focus to reach there, right? So learn this bow analogy well. Learn comment, you need to be able to explain it, right? So, and also another thing to learn well, say the two birds story. There are questions about it. We will go through the questions. The two birds sitting on the same tree. Regardez Manu, and the two birds, what do they signify? One bird actually say the individual soul, Manu. A deuxième bird say the Brahman. On a tree, two birds. One bird, the soul, nous, c'est nous. Et deuxième, c'est Brahman. Now imagine the world. Dans le monde, il y a deux birds. And c'est nous, deuxième, Brahman. What is Brahman doing? Brahman is witnessing. He doesn't do anything. He has nothing to do. But who is acting? Who is doing duties? Who is doing actions? No. We are doing. The individual soul, the individual souls are doing, right? And while doing our karma, at times we do good karma, we get good results. And at times we do bad karmas, we get bad results. At times we are tempted. At times we do bad things, right? At times, instead of doing the good action, instead of following the right path, we get deviated. We do the wrong thing. We keep on eating instead of praying and meditating. We keep on eating veut dire, c'est pas littéralement juste manger, quoi, including manger, comment dire, eating, drinking, and merrymaking. At times, we become totally material. And we forget about God, we forget about prayers, we forget about meditation. Why do we do this? Qui fait ça bird là, ça individual soul là, nous, qui fait nous faire ça? Because of ignorance. We are ignorant. That's why sa deuxième bird qui peut assise à côté nous là, ne pas réussir trouver. Because of ignorance, we are not able to see him, we are not able to realize him. Because of ignorance. So to get rid of that ignorance, we need knowledge. We need to do good karma. We need to perform bhakti. Premièrement, bien sûr, we will say knowledge, gyan. We'll need bhakti, that is devotion, and we'll have to do good karmas, the karma yoga. Then only we will realize that we are one. We, and that is nous avec the Brahman, we are one. Remember this quote, Aham Brahmasmi, I am God. O Tattvamasi, you are God. At times, the individual soul, no, no, we are in sorrows, confusion, doubt, we are suffering. Bien sûr, la raison qui fait, c'est we are ignorant, but we can't stay ignorant. No. We need to grow, we need to evolve, right? So we have to do the good thing to go there. N'importe qui chemin, bhakti, jnana, bhakti ou karma, right? Here's the example of Valmiki. Valmiki, it's in Daku, no? Valmiki, if you know, he wrote the Ramayana in Sanskrit. Of it, it's in Daku. He was not even able to say the word Ram. He was saying the word like Mara, Mara, Mara. But when you continue to say the word Maram, 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 it becomes Ram. With that practice, he became the great sage Valmiki, who gave us the Ramayana, right? And remember these two paths. We have two paths in life. Shreya, the good path, and prayer, the pleasant path. We'll have to choose always in life, we will have to choose which path. And it's always good to take the Shreya path. The pleasant path is good for only few days. Non, tu sais qui glitter is not gold. Tu sais qui a une brilliance, qui brille, non, il n'est pas gold. Mais quand nous marchons le chemin, prayer, prayer, hein, pas prayer puja, hein, get bien, prayer, the pleasant path. Here we are enjoying senses only. You will say everything is fine, good. We are getting everything easily, but in the long run, we are going to suffer. But in the Shreya path, initially the path can be very difficult. We will have to work hard day and night, but at the end, we will reach our goal.